The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bill Levinson, managing partner with Levinson and Associates. With us today, we have Joseph Loughran, our marketing vice president. And then we have our special guest speaker, Chris Donnells, that's joining us as well. So just a few things that I want to mention before we dive in. And by the way, Chris, our feature presenter, is going to take controls in just about 3 to 4 minutes here. So me and Joe will speak briefly. Chris will then speak for about 30 minutes. And then after Chris is done, myself and Joseph are going to talk about IUL lead generation. We're going to show you a new target marketing tool and some other neat new additions here at Levinson. So make sure to stay on. We're going to run for about 45 minutes total. Obviously, we have a big 3-day weekend coming up. We know a lot of people are taking off on Friday. We'll make this as brief as possible, but I think it's important enough to spend 40 to 45 minutes with us today with some great new sales and marketing ideas. So, as you know, I'm sure if you've been with us for a while or you're newer with us, we don't look at our IMO as, here's a contract and an 800 phone number to the carrier and good luck. And, if you run into any roadblocks, let us know kind of thing. No, we take the opposite approach and we want to find out what's working, what's not, what maybe different trends in other industries. Okay, what's working on their end, and if things look and sound great and have been proven, then we take those tools and technology or concepts and bring those over into the life insurance brokerage space. Okay, we have known to be an industry disruptor, and that's because we go out and we take chances and we do things that other IMOs have never done in history. Okay, if we go to the next slide here, you will see us featured on the cover of Insurance Newsnet magazine. This is the August edition, and we're very proud of this, obviously. Joe, if you can mute those lines, that would be great. We have actually a big number of agents on today, so I apologize for the background noise. So this is the cover shot. You've seen it by now on our website or in your mailbox. But we are very, very proud of this. We would never be here, okay, if it wasn't for you, our agents, okay? We're approaching the 15,000 number right now. We have almost 15,000 active agents in the country under Levinson. So my hat goes off to each and every one of you. We would never be here talking about this magazine issue today if it wasn't for you guys and girls out there in the field. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I truly, truly mean that. And the second part of why we're here is because we're out there making waves, okay? And, in the life insurance space and in our industry, it's a very old school approach, okay? My father started the agency in '72. I came in over 20 years ago, and everything was done with a yellow legal pad and a rate book. And it was my job to go out and say, you know what, how can we combine the latest technology, right, and software and websites and e-blasts? How can we combine what's going on with other industries like Apple and take the best of the best and bring those things over to the life insurance space? And we did just that, okay? If we back up, I would say almost 10 years now, I remember sitting on a NALBA, a LIMRA, a NAIFA board talking about e-applications, okay? I was part of a panel, and we would talk about e-applications and e-policy delivery, and I would say how other industries are using this stuff today and how come the life insurance space isn't there yet. And we would debate and go back and forth, and they would look at me like I had 3 heads. Okay, they didn't believe that we were there yet, and they didn't think that an agent would ever go online and fill out an application. Okay, they thought the old school paper approach was the best way, and frankly, the only way that an agent could sell life insurance. So, you fast forward to today and you talk about disruption. Okay, back then they looked at me like I was nuts. Now, here we are today. When an agent calls our office, especially a newer agent, they say, Bill, I only want to get set up with the carriers that have e-applications. And a lot of times they don't even care about the company. They just say, I need an e-application. I'm not filling out 20 pieces of paper. So look how things changed. Okay, I'll give you another quick example. Think back, 20 years, let's say. And I'm sure a lot of you have children that are on this call. And if you think back, would you have ever thought in a million years that you would let your 16-year-old daughter go around town in a stranger's back seat around New York City? You would say you are out of your freaking mind. Okay, now fast forward again today. Look at where we are with Uber, okay? There's a lot of 16-year-olds, especially in the cities, okay, that would rather have an Uber gift card for their 16th birthday than a car. And you actually would prefer that your 16-year-old daughter or son be in the back of an Uber instead of driving their own car, coming from a party on a Friday night. So talk about change. Talk about disruption, okay? The proof is there. Okay, and if you think it's not happening to our industry, you're wrong. And the industry will pass you by, just like Blockbuster Video and Netflix. Okay, I think there's one Blockbuster store left in the country. I think it's in Alaska. All right, look at Netflix today. They're making their own movies. They have their own production studio. So things are changing very quickly. And it's our job to go out, find what works, find what doesn't, and bring that stuff to our agents. And that's exactly why and the reason we were featured on Insurance Newsnet as the industry disruptor. So very proud of that. And the work has just begun. We're not going to stop here. We're going to constantly go out and find what's working and what's not for our agents. The only thing I ask is that you spend 40 minutes and listen to us once a week, because we're going to dive into all of our tools. We'll talk about testimonials and make sure that you're comfortable with everything. We're not saying, hey, be a Bill Gates and learn how to code software. But what we are saying is be smart. And if something makes sense and it's going to help your business, okay, and even if it means spending 45 minutes on a training webinar weekly, big deal, okay? If it works and you grow and you can relate not only to your clients, but their children and their grandchildren, then kudos, okay? It's a win-win. Okay, so without, I know I get a little excited. Without further ado, we're going to jump in today's feature presenter, okay? We have Chris Donnells from AXA, and he's going to talk about some new, innovative IUL sales concepts, a guaranteed issue product, okay, which we all love to hear about. He comes from an A-plus carrier. AXA is very well known. They are the go-to in New York, okay? Obviously, commissions are about double of what they typically are in New York, but even outside of New York, they have some neat stuff that I think you'll be very impressed with. Also, if you're already contracted, if you're not under Levinson, take advantage of the cash for contracting. We'll transfer you, and you'll get cash as soon as you submit your first app. If you are with us, even better, you can get started today. Without further ado, Christopher Donnells from AXA Financial. Chris?
Thank you so much. You got me excited. I think I want to go back into sales now. That was a great talk. Thank you. Yeah, my name is Chris Donnells. I'm with AXA's Advanced Markets, and I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about a concept called private reserve, and then we're going to briefly touch on the guaranteed issue platform that AXA has to offer. And the private reserve is a great concept when you're dealing with individuals that really want to put money away. Maybe they can't, they're maxed out on qualified plans, but they want to put money away for life's events. And life insurance can be a great tool to put money into just for those reasons, so that something should come up in their lifetime, that they have the reserve there for themselves that they could take the money out. So what we're going to do is we're going to cover the importance of life insurance, the range of the client's choices that they have when saving. What does it really mean to overfund a contract? We're going to look at life insurance as a private reserve and then some sales support materials, and then we'll get into just a little bit of GI. But I think the first thing that we have to think about is the importance of life insurance. And I think that this comes at a wonderful time, knowing that September is Life Insurance Awareness Month. It's a great way to get out there and meet with clients. Danica Patrick is our spokeswoman for the month. And as we know, when you build a house, the house will crumble if it doesn't have a solid foundation. And that foundation for almost every person out there should be life insurance, because that lump sum, that lump that we're going to give your beneficiary is going to help provide survivor income needs. It may be that lump that the children get to go to college. It may be that lump that pays their final expenses, or it may be that lump that pays off that mortgage and the other debt so that the spouse doesn't have to work 3 jobs. So insurance is really important. And while we normally think of insurance, and maybe a lot of clients think of just term insurance because they need something cheap, permanent policies offer another level to insurance, which is the policy cash growth, the policy cash values. And those cash values can be a source of funds to really help protect clients and their families, and maybe help them meet some critical lifetime goals in this policy now being built as their private reserve. So now, cash value life insurance really does double duty, doesn't it? It provides life insurance protection, death benefit protection, right? It also provides a potential source of income for key lifestyle events, such as retirement supplement. People are worried, maybe I'm not going to have enough money for retirement. I don't want to draw from my taxable accounts. Maybe I need some tax-free income. Well, life insurance may help. Tuition, colleges are not cheap. By starting now, when you got a young kid, you got 18 years to grow some money that they could take out tax-free. Life insurance may be able to help. Maybe they want to make a down payment on a vacation home. Maybe it's one of the spouses that really wanted to start a business. Maybe one of their children are getting married. My wife pulled out our wedding tally from 18 years ago, and it was close to $20,000. I can't imagine what a wedding goes for now. So these are big expenses in someone's life. Or maybe unexpected expenses. What happens if somebody loses a job and they don't know where they're going to tap into for cash? Well, if they had the life insurance policy set up, those cash values would have been there for them. Now, clients have a range of choices when it comes to putting money away. We all know about 401k plans. Most people in the workforce have them. A lot of people contribute to them. Maybe not all of them contribute the max, but they do contribute. There's also IRAs. IRAs are great for people to contribute to, both Roth and traditional. You have all your savings investments, your equities, your stocks, your bonds, your municipal securities, your tax exempts. You have annuities, and of course, you have life insurance. Life insurance is an option. Now, when we look at assets, such as stocks and bonds and 401ks, they're great, but what you have to do is look at the overall picture. And let's take a look at how maybe these assets differ, how they behave differently. Now, if we look at this screen, you'll notice that, we have laid out here the qualified plans or the IRAs. You have your equities and your bonds, your annuity, and life insurance. Now, when you see green, green is good. Green means go. And you notice that life insurance has a lot of green, whereas there are some limitations to these other characteristics with other assets that life insurance provides that the other ones don't. For example, if you look at equities, your income may be taxable, whereas your income from life insurance is tax deferred. You look at some of the other things on the list, income tax on annual income, its basis is tax free. At death, is it included in your estate? Well, if it's trust owned with life insurance, it's not. Is it tax at liquidation? No, it's tax free. Are there any limits to contributions? No, there isn't, not with life insurance. The only thing that you do have to worry about maybe a little bit is the acquisition dollars or even the state law controls for the state law for creditor protection, because every state has their own rules. But for the most part, life insurance offers a lot of opportunity for clients to put money away and protect themselves at the same time. Now, when you start weighing the choices, life insurance, that death benefit is there to protect the family in case of an early death. And right now, underneath the current tax law, we don't foresee it changing. Those cash values grow tax-free, and those withdrawals and loans, they can come out tax-free. There's a choice of investment options in many of your policies nowadays. It's not just the old mutual companies, selling dividend policies. No, you got AXA as a leader in the variable life, where you have separate accounts that that can be put into, which will allow an insured to experience growth in the equity market using a variable life policy. And then you have other types of policies, just like our competitive IUL product, our Bright Life Grow and our IUL Protect, which are tied to a specific benchmark, such as the S&P or the Russell 2000. So clients can experience some investment growth with their cash value. And of course, one of the greatest things about IUL or VUL or any of the ULs is the flexibility in contributions. If I'm paying $10,000 a year and next year I can only afford $8,000, well, that's fine. I may be able to do that. So there's flexibility in the payments, whereas you're not so structured as with a whole life type of contract where you have to pay that premium. Of course, there are other considerations that you take into effect. It can be expensive, especially if there's only an insurance need. So your younger clients that are just starting out, they're just starting a family, they just bought a home, they probably just bought a car, they probably have student loan debt, that's a lot. So they might be a candidate more for term insurance, but don't forget the conversion. They have a right to convert. So as they get older and they make more money, convert that. The cash value increases, are tax-free, but insurance policy carries charges that aren't associated with other investment vehicles. One of them being lengthy surrender charges. We all know that. Life insurance has a lengthy surrender charge period, so clients should be cognizant of that. Also, care must be taken when you're taking withdrawals and loans from a policy, because if you take too much in cash value, your policy may fail. So that's why we've always recommended, if you plan on taking income from a contract, you always want to kind of stress test it a little bit. Maybe show 0, maybe show 2, show current, and show what happens and how much you can take based upon those numbers, because you don't want to see the client's insurance fail. Now, what I had mentioned earlier is the overfunding of life insurance. And when you overfund a life insurance policy, you're essentially putting more money into it than you really need to. Simple as that. And after you pay enough premiums to cover all the charges in the policy, all those additional premiums that you put in over and above are available for cash value accumulation. So sometimes you may see some policies where they're only paying COI charges, or they're paying the minimum amount. Well, that's really just paying whatever it is to keep the policy in force. Here, we're putting more money into it so that we could grow the cash value. Of course, policies with a level death benefit increase cash values, lower the net amount of risk for which mortality charges are assessed. You also have a risk that the policy may lapse or require future unexpected premiums in the future. So you want to make sure that you overfund the contract. Just don't put in the minimum. And the greater cash value accumulation may result in a higher death benefit. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means that if you're putting in money into a contract and we reach a point at which we're breaching what we could put in for that death benefit, that's when you reach something called corridor. And once you hit corridor, the death benefit's going to try to increase to keep it as life insurance and not an investment. Another way to increase the death benefit, where you can use the cash value, would also be to use an increasing death benefit. So this is a really great way to see how overfunding works. It's very simple. If we look at the left, we have the smaller premium payment. This is the guy or gal that's just putting in the bare minimum. So we have the policy charges, expenses, and those are pretty big, right? Then you have the tax deferred and investment portion of it. And that's kind of a smaller bubble. But since the policy charges and expenses are so big, there's not a lot that can go into that tax deferred and investment portion, right? Well, when you put in a larger premium payment, the ratio of policy charges and expenses to the investment portion of it is much lower, because now we have money going towards the cash value versus a lot of money going towards charges and expenses. So if you took the example that we had $1,000 premium and the policy charges and expenses were $750, you only had $250 left over, right? Well, if you took the same example and you put $2,000 in, well, now you put $1,250 towards the cash value. Your policy charges and expenses are much lower in ratio compared to your overall premium. So that gets us to, the private reserve. Whereas we have a policy here that's pretty much designed to be funded until retirement. And what this is going to do is it's going to allow the client the option to take some policy loans and withdrawals. And the client can pay those loans back. Now, generally, how we try to illustrate these types of plans is that the client may take a loan, and then right away the following year for a few years, we'll take withdrawals from the policy and repay the loan with withdrawals from the policy. Then we take another loan, and then we pay back that loan with withdrawals. So the client really isn't paying back out of their own pocket. But this life insurance policy is becoming your client's private reserve, because they're paying themselves back. They're not having to go out to the bank and ask for a loan and pay the loan interest rate that the bank is charging. They're paying themselves back with their own policy. Oh, and by the way, our loan interest rates on our policy are a wash loan after year 10, which means that the rate that we charge for the loan interest and the rate that we credit the loan are exactly the same after year 10. There's a 1% arbitrage in years 1 through 10, and it's a wash loan after year 10. So what we'll do is we'll look at a case study here. We got Tom, he's 35 years old, newly married, likes the idea of doing like a supplemental retirement type of plan, and has a need to save has a need for life insurance. He wants to save more than the Roth IRA allows. Okay, so right now in his age bracket, he can only put away about $5,500 a year for a Roth IRA. He's currently investing in the tax qualified plan that his company is matching, and he makes over $150,000 a year. So what Tom can do is he can take $10,000, he could throw that into a life insurance policy as we see here, and we pay that until age 65. Now at age 45, Tom decides, you know what, I'm going to start my own business. So he takes $35,000 out of the life insurance contract, and he uses that to help start his business. When he turns 55, him and his wife decide, you know what, I think we should borrow some money from that life insurance contract and put it towards our vacation home. So they borrow $45,000 in 20 years. Then once he reaches retirement age of 66, he takes out $53,500 a year for 20 years. So what has Tom done? Well, Tom has essentially taken out just over $1.1 million out of his life insurance policy. His total premiums were close to $200,000. He was able to take money out of the life insurance policy, supplement his retirement, fund his business, and put money towards a vacation home. All the while, he started out with a $500,000 death benefit, with $1 million of death benefit by the time he retired, and still after he took out the retirement income, he had $125,000 of death benefit left over. So the advantages to using the private reserve is the basic fact that the clients have flexibility. They can take the loans from the policy and decide when they want to pay them back. Go to a bank and tell the bank you're going to take out a loan and say, listen, I'm going to pay you back when I feel like it. The bank will probably shake their head in disbelief. But with life insurance, you don't have to pay it back. Value, life insurance provides generally tax-free loans or withdrawals come from the policy. You know, as long as you take a withdrawal that doesn't exceed your basis, it's not going to be taxed. As long as the policy is not a mech, it's not going to be taxed. Efficiency, because the client owns the life insurance policy, they can design this to fit their needs, right? They can decide whether or not when they want to pay this all back, or if they want to pay this back, or how they want to pay it back. You know, and independence. You know, clients can take loans whenever there's cash value ready. Borrowing is their decision. So, you know, they can take cash value out of that policy as soon as it's readily available for them to use. So who would be using this? Any type of professional. You want to supplement your existing plan. You want to create an income stream for yourself in the future. You have individuals who want a flexible source of income for life's events, like a wedding or the purchase of a car or a new home. And business owners really too. I mean, some business owners aren't capable of doing non-qualified plans just because of the way that their business is set up. And this is a relatively hassle-free way of setting up a plan to give them a potential source of dollars. And another reason for the business to get cash value life insurance. Now, of course, you do have some considerations, whereas, you know, if you don't keep paying a premium on the life insurance, you know, you could lose some substantial money in the early years. You want to hold this policy to death because generally, you know, life insurance always takes a while to build cash value. And you know, you always see that one, you know, egg in the first year, the big zero that shows, oh, I got no cash value. One thing you can consider to add to the life insurance policy is a CV plus rider, a cash value rider. That will enhance the cash value. It will make it look as though the value of the policy is much greater for that client, and they could sleep better at night knowing that 80 to 85, 90% of whatever they put into that policy is there in those first 8 years. And then, of course, tax-free distributions. Those distributions will reduce the face amount of the policy, and of course, the cash. So the client may need to pay higher premiums in later years to keep the policy from lapsing. So therefore, you know, we always recommend, as I said before, stress test the policy, see how it performs to make sure it's performing to the needs of your client. Of course, you know, you have clients that must qualify medically and financially for life insurance. And, you know, as I said before, there's 100 charges associated with life insurance, but when you overfund a plan, that life insurance that ratio between the charges and what you're putting into the cash value will be much less. We have plenty of sales support material for you on the private reserve. The concept is in our Aegis system, both on the website and on the desktop. So take a look at it. It's a great concept, very easy to maneuver through that concept. We also have a bunch of marketing materials for you, like our supplemental income, the private reserve, and dialing your tax bracket. The one that is up here that's different is the retirement income gap. And the retirement income gap is a spreadsheet that we have that will actually show, based upon the client's current financial state, where they will end up with an income stream at retirement and what they will be deficit with. Because clients have the idea in their mind that they're all going to make $100,000 a year in retirement, and when they actually look at it, they're only at about 70 grand. Well, that 30 grand is the gap. So we show them how to fill the gap with supplemental income, with life insurance, how to use life insurance to fill that gap in retirement, so that they can, get the money that they really want and live a happy retirement. So with that being said, I'm kind of just going to twist the tables here just real quickly and touch on a high-level overview of guaranteed issue. I did mention business owners before, and this program is really geared towards business owners. And why would you want to do guaranteed issue? Well, if you work with a bunch of business owners, you know that their time is their money. And when you have multiple applications to date, I think anybody in this room or on this call would agree that applications take time. Guaranteed issue saves that time because it's a very simplified application. And it's a streamlined process to underwrite multiple people with ease. So who is it suitable for? Mainly closely held businesses or large corporations. You either have a flat amount or a formula such as 3 to 5 times salary for the guaranteed issue. And we have to have at least 10 or more highly compensated executives, meaning $100,000 or greater in salary, white collar, meaning top management, advanced degree professionals, those types of people. Think anybody sitting behind a desk. That's really who we're looking at. They have to be actively at work. It's got to be sponsored by the employer, and they have to be a permanent resident of the United States. So to qualify for these groups, again, $100,000 or more, you can't have any substandard or uninsurable risks in the group. We have to have at least a minimum group size of 10, with a maximum average issue age of about 55, with issue ages between 20 and 70. And then, of course, there's also a minimum participation rate. We can get into that later, but these are really the highlights right there as to who what that group really looks like. The other thing that we have is now the guaranteed issue with the long-term care services rider. We did make a change to our GI platform last year, and we're including the long-term care services rider as a simplified issue platform on the GI platform. So it's guaranteed issue life insurance with a simplified issue long-term care. And the good news is that we will now have the CV Plus rider with long-term care coming out shortly. So that will greatly enhance the guaranteed issue for some of these sales. But as you can see, the issue requirements change just a little bit. Issue ages are between 20 and 65 instead of between 20 and 70 for the just the life portion. You need 100% participation of those under age 65 with a maximum average issue age of 50. So of course now we've changed the maximum average issue age from 55 to 50 for the long-term care. The monthly benefit is either 1 or 2%, and it has to be the same for the whole group. We can't discriminate, so it's 1 or 2% for the whole group, up to $1 million. So, we'll do $1 million. If everybody had $1 million policy, they could all do $1 million worth of long-term care. And then, of course, there's an 85% approval rating. So, take for example, you had 100 people in a group. 85 of them would have to be approved for the long-term care. If we didn't have that 85% approval rating, then everyone would be offered life, just no long-term care. Now, one thing I like to point out is the face amount. We will go up to $5 million of guaranteed issue coverage. That's assuming we have a certain number of employees. Here we have this is our level funded death benefit oriented plans. And this one, we have 10 employees at the bottom times the multiplier, which you'll see there, which is 30,000. That means those 10 employees can get a maximum face of 300,000. We also have 20 employees, maximum face of $1 million. And if we had 84 employees, we could do a maximum face of $5 million. Now, going back to our whole topic of overfunding life insurance, it gets even better. If we have an overfunded plan with guaranteed issue, now those 10 employees can get a maximum of 500,000. 20 employees go to 1.2, and now it only takes 72 employees to do $5 million. So the guaranteed issue is a very attractive program to really streamline it. Any type of non-qualified plan can be put into this. One thing to realize is that there's two things to realize. There's no haircut on commissions, so you get paid the same amount as you would have. You know, there's no haircut to our GI program. And the other thing that we take pride in is that this is not a certificate program. This is not like what you get with your health insurance. We deliver a policy to every single participant. So if there are 1,000 people, we print 1,000 policies. This is not a certificate program. So it's portable. You have a bonus plan, they have a policy in their hand. If it's a supplement plan, they have a policy in their hand. But, you know, we take pride in knowing that we actually give out that life insurance contract, and, you know, that they actually have something that they can hold on to that's just not a certificate. We have plenty of other materials out there. And of course, I could probably go on for a longer time, but I don't want to interrupt the rest of your meeting. So I could just end it there unless you guys have any questions.
Yep, no, that was perfect, Chris. We appreciate it. What we're going to do is we'll send out brochures and AXA information with licensing as soon as the call is over so everyone can get set up. And don't forget, they have that new refresh IUL coming out September 10th, also with more competitive pricing. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Okay, we're going to move forward. We have just a few more minutes. We're going to talk about all IUL and guaranteed issue options for group and then individual, what's available to you from Levinson and Associates. So real quick, let's go to the next slide here, Joe, and then we can dive right in. Okay, perfect. So like I said, we're going to touch on all IUL guaranteed issue options because I feel that it's very important. I don't care what type of agent you are. If you're selling out of your third bedroom, great. If you're working with financial advisors, CPAs, tax attorneys, whatever the case is, there's always going to be a need. You're always going to come across a client that has some health issues, maybe height and weight challenge, whatever the case is, we have a solution for that prospect. There will never be a time where you don't have a product for a client, ever. Okay, so always remember that. We're going to show you in just a second. Agency Automator 2.0, very, very important here. Like I was talking about earlier, the way that the industry is changing and other industries around us, it's very important that we are all relevant and up to speed, okay, with what's available and how we can market in 2018 and in the future. So we at Levinson put together this platform called Agency Automator, and the newest revision is 2.0. And just think about this for a minute, and I hope you have a pen and paper out. Like I said in the beginning, you know, the old school life insurance approach was a legal pad and a rate book, okay? And then you sent out maybe handwritten letters, maybe a handwritten birthday card. You had your assistant, you know, put on labels with a name and address, and you kept track that way. These days, everything is automated, okay? With this platform, you can literally flip a switch and have your entire marketing campaigns running on autopilot. Okay, so we have partnered with a third-party vendor. In fact, I helped create and program a lot of these tools and technology, but everything that you're about to hear is catered and directed towards life insurance, annuity, long-term care, health insurance sales. So that's what's so neat about this. So real quick, if you look at the body in the middle, it says Agency Automator, and that's the main platform, okay? And then you'll see these 5 legs coming out of it. The first one will start at about 9 o'clock going clockwise. That's the CRM tool that is built so you can keep your name in front of your prospects and clients, okay? And you can go on our platform today, and you can turnkey and get your website builder up and running and start your CRM tool up to 100 contacts for free. It's all free. So your retail website, built-in quote engine, built-in lead capture, calculators, everything's customizable. If you want to look into search engine optimization, where someone Googles, life insurance in Coral Springs and your name pops up, you can do that as well. You can take it as far as you want with our new updated platform. So the website builder and CRM tool, completely free, okay? There's a $9.95 a month hosting charge, but we pay for activation, we pay for everything. So there's nothing you have to worry about. Moving forward there, you'll see the website builder. That's what we just went over. You can even pick a custom domain name, call it BillLevinsoninsurance.com, anything that you want. Now, moving forward there, about 12 o'clock, Agency Automator Plus. Think of a CRM tool, but the way that was built is the database, instead of clients that you market to, this database is all agents that you can recruit to and build your downline. So you can go into a library, use all of our different marketing pieces, and start to send out your own e-blasts and start to recruit agents. Okay, that's the way that the Plus Agency Automator Plus was intended to work. So very neat stuff. Moving forward, about 2 o'clock, the virtual assistant. And we came up with this because agents said to us, Bill, we love what you guys are doing, but it can become very overwhelming, and I don't have time. I want to stay in the field and just sell. That's what I want to focus on. So we have a real live virtual assistant that will send out your e-blast. They will call your prospects and clients if you're having a seminar, a webinar, or just a personal one-on-one policy review meeting. They will make all of the calls for you. This is a co-op platform where we pay for part of the cost, and it's like pennies on the dollar compared to a real live assistant in your office. So if you want to take advantage of the VA, the virtual assistant, I encourage you to do so. Okay, then moving forward, the last button there on the right side, about 3 o'clock, that is the new target marketing tool. Now, this is a game changer in our industry. Just like what Uber did to the yellow cab taxi and Netflix did to Blockbuster, SureWorks changed the marketing game, okay? And the way they got big was in the real estate side. So real estate agents, okay, made and created this tool, and it became very, very popular. So what happened is we teamed up with another third-party company, and we said, you know what? Why don't we do this in the life insurance arena? Okay, there's 2 parts to this. There's part 1 and part 2, and I don't want to confuse everybody, so stay with me now on this. Part 1, the way that this works, if you have been on a website, okay, recently, which I know all of you have, let's say Amazon, for example, and you have let's say a dog, and you wanted to look at dog food. Okay, and you pulled up, Rachel Ray's dog food, okay, and you saw it was $49 for a 10-pound bag, and maybe you didn't buy it, so you X'd out of it. You said, you know what, I'll wait till next week. And now all of a sudden you go on different social media pages, search engines, maybe ESPN.com to check the latest college football score. And all of a sudden you see that same green bag of Rachel Ray's dog food in the bottom right corner. And you say, wait a minute. How the hell did Amazon and Rachel Ray know that I'm on ESPN now and that I was just looking at this bag of dog food 2 days ago? Okay? That is target marketing in a nutshell. And now that I have opened your eyes to this, you're going to start to notice it happens all the time. The difference is, in the past and years ago, only the big companies can afford to do this, like Amazon and General Motors and Hyundai. Okay, what would happen is you'd go on their site, and then they would track you and follow you. They would literally look at your footsteps and say, you know what, Bill almost bought a Hyundai Sorento, and now we're going to take that Hyundai Sorento and show it in front of him everywhere he goes on his smartphone and on his desktop computer, okay? That's part one in a nutshell. So we said, you know what? Why not do this for life insurance agents? So now what happens is you purchase a zip code, okay, $59, and let's say 33067, and now anyone in that zip code that looks up life insurance, maybe runs a quote, maybe looks at an article, maybe does a search on Coral Springs life insurance, your name and business card is going to pop up in the bottom right corner, and it's going to track them everywhere they go for a month. Okay, so you can buy one zip code, you can buy 10 zip codes. It's totally up to you. And then you get a report at the end of the month that shows you who clicked on your business card and then who clicked through to your website. That's why I keep saying it's so important to have a professional and nice looking website, because you're driving traffic now to your website, which hopefully will drive traffic to make an appointment with you, which is the ultimate step. So that's part one. Part two, the way this works, it's called the sphere. And the sphere, and again, stay with me. I don't want to lose anyone. It's so important. The way that this works is you upload up to 1,000 of your prospects and clients into the tool, okay? Then your business card now is going to pop up in front of your sphere, everybody in your sphere, so friends, family, neighbor, prospects, clients, they're going to see your ad everywhere they go for 30 days. That's the sphere. Hopefully, if they were thinking about buying life insurance, this will be the piece that puts them over the edge to get back on the phone with you, bring up the meeting, and you make the sale. Okay, so there's part one, part two. These are all co-op deals. They've never been done before in the insurance space. So this is a great opportunity. Now, we have trainings literally every single week, 4 times a week, live with the programmer. You can jump in, ask questions. We want to make sure that you are comfortable. So this is game-changing stuff, folks. It is called the SureWorks Target Marketing Tool only from Levinson. Okay, moving forward, the ultimate $5 lead. Now, this is huge for us, and the reason why, and we keep marketing this everywhere, and I think I have my slides backwards here, no problem. Joe, can we fast forward to the IUL lead, and then we'll go back? Okay, so real quick, we've been marketing this a lot, and the reason why is because it works. Okay, this is a book called New Rules of Retirement Savings, and the way that this book works, there used to be a book by Patrick Kelly years ago that everybody used to give out, and they would give this to a prospect and say, read this book, and by the time the client is done, they're ready to set up a meeting with you, okay? Same concept. We have experimented now for almost a year. The book works great. They're $20 on Amazon. That's the retail price. With Levinson, the co-op deal is $5. So there is no reason to not try this out. It works awesome. It's an easy read, about 20, 30 minutes in layman's terms. It explains IUL in a nutshell. When they're done, they are ready to talk to you about possibly purchasing an IUL policy. So the program works, especially holiday time, birthdays, or if you just want to try this out with 5 or 10 clients and see how it goes. This is only available to Levinson agents. So if you're set up with an IUL company or even AXA, okay, you have to be contracted with us, then you have full access to this co-op platform. But I encourage you to give it a shot. It works great. Okay, moving forward here. Real quick, we have our IUL sales software. And I know I'm skipping around a little bit here. Joe, let's go back to the IUL carriers, and then I'll have you wrap it up. Okay, so the IUL carriers, you just heard about AXA, and they have a new facelift coming out September 10th. Great product. You heard about some new sales ideas today. We also have all of the most competitive products and carriers that you're looking at in front of you. Anywhere you see that red asterisk, that means that the scholarship platform is included at no additional charge, okay? So you talk about college funding and planning, there's nothing better than an indexed UL that builds tons of cash based on the S&P and have a 1-year $40,000 scholarship that goes along with it at no additional charge for your client. So any of the carriers with a red asterisk, those are all approved. If you want further information, let us know. And again, if you're appointed already with a different IMO than Levinson and you want to transfer, take advantage of the cash for contracting. You get anywhere between $100 and $400 cash, plus we match, or in most cases beat, your existing commission grid. Okay, so take advantage of that. Just let us know if you're interested, and we will get you up and running. Okay, Joe's going to talk about our IUL sales software, and then we're going to go from there. Joe, you there?
Yeah, thanks, Bill. So real quickly here, part of the announcement for this webinar talked about our really great IUL sales software, and with all the different sales concepts that we talked about today and uses of Index Universal Life, it's really great for us as agents to understand those. But when it comes to explaining that to clients, sometimes things get lost in the shuffle, and IUL is by no means a simple, easy product. And especially if you've ever seen an IUL illustration, it's really not a sales aid. It's more of something that, of course, an attorney wrote at the insurance carrier. So it's not something that normally helps sell the product. Of course, you can look at cash values, but what we've been able to do, and we've looked at probably 3 to 4 dozen different sales software platforms throughout the years. And the one that really we've seen agents close more business and be able to explain IUL very simply and easily is our brand new IUL sales software that as a Levinson agent you have access to. There's a couple screenshots here of really this software allows you to either run an illustration through the carrier, or our marketing team can run that illustration by literally plugging in just a couple pieces of information. This software will generate a customized proposal with a client brochure, downside scenario, cost analysis. It even has seminar, group, or one-on-one presentation material that's all fully compliant that discusses that IUL product. So very easy to make that IUL sale if you use this. If you're not familiar with it, reach out to our marketing team on your next IUL case. We'll run that at absolutely no cost for you, so you can really kind of see just how powerful it is. And with a couple slides and a couple explanations to that client, they're really going to understand how that IUL product works and really what the ups and downs are versus other types of products. So real quickly here, to get access to that software, either contact our marketing team, or if you go to kerrylevinson.com, what I did is I showed a screenshot underneath agent tools. You click on Indexed UL Sales Software. You can fill out all your information, and we'll actually send you access to that platform. So very simple, very, very easy to get started with. Real quickly here, we did mention some guaranteed issue products for the group marketplace. I wanted to bring up individual underwritten, or I guess not really underwritten because they're guaranteed issue, but individual products we have available for that guaranteed issue marketplace kind of as a last resort, which is American General, Gerber, Great Western, which will go up to $50,000 depending on the client, Kemper, United Home Life. We also have a lot of accidental death benefit products that have literally no medical underwriting questions whatsoever. We can actually stack multiple products. So if someone needs more than $25,000 or even $100,000 of coverage, we can kind of combine those different products together. So of course, we'll send our information on those products as soon as we get you the recording today, this afternoon. Like Bill mentioned, that agency automator platform, the virtual assistant website builder, even AssureWorks, we have trainings every single week. They're always at 2 p.m. Eastern. So just to give you an idea on the screen here, Monday, we cover AssureWorks. Tuesday, the website builder, so you can have an online presence. Wednesday, the CRM platform. And Thursday, the prospecting and recruiting tool, which is going to help you get those 1,000 prospects every single month based on the criteria that you pick. So definitely you can register right on kerrylevinson.com for any one of those training events. And then at the bottom there, we've got a really, really great webinar coming up, which is on September 12th. It's at 2 p.m. and it's covering foreign national and foreign travel underwriting niches. So this is going to be co-hosted by one of our top carriers, but a really, really great way to learn more about carriers that are doing some international underwriting for clients that maybe are undocumented or don't have a tax ID number. It's really going to be able to open those doors, especially with us being in South Florida. Clients, that may not have citizenship, maybe from other countries, a really great resource to be able to write policies on every single one of those clients.
Okay, good stuff, Joe. Thank you. Okay, so real quick, I know we ran a little bit late, so I'll tell you what I'm going to do is anyone that is set up with AXA or Allianz, okay, for IUL, we will send you a free copy of that retirement savings book. So just let us know and we will mail that out this afternoon. So as soon as you're set up, I'll send out a free copy on us. Okay, also, Joe went over the guaranteed issue. Make a note because Gerber is the only guaranteed issue carrier and products, right, that come with our free scholarship. So imagine going out there and marketing Gerber, right, all guaranteed issue, great household name, and free scholarship for their children or grandchildren. So that's going to give you a huge hook, okay, especially above your competitors because they don't have access. So in fact, Joe, let's include a brochure and licensing in today's thank you email. I think that's important. Okay, Levinson, hitting the road. By the way, we're just about done in about, I would say, a minute and a half. We are hitting the road September 7th at the local Boca Raton Maggiano's restaurant, talking all about John Hancock, the new IUL, and premium finance in-house options. Then on September 21st, we're driving up to Central Florida. We're going to present Sagicor Life and Kansas City Life, both scholarship approved, and then we're going to take about an hour and dive into all of the new technology that's only available through Levinson. So if you can make one of those meetings, great. If you are out of the state, we're going to have webinars featuring all this stuff regardless. Or I hope you can make it to our annual expo, which will be in March or April of next year. So either way, we would love to see you face to face and shake some hands. All right, we're going to end with this. We always have a Positive Tuesday hook. So the reason why we call it Positive Tuesday, to be honest, there is no reason. We came up with this, okay, just to show our agents how you can market and brand yourself on social media, through your website, through eBlast. You can even have your spouse hold your cell phone up tonight and take a 2-minute video of yourself talking all about indexed UL or guaranteed issue, and then post those things online. I call this our Positive Tuesday quote, which I put up every single Tuesday on our social media, on our website. It means absolutely nothing, but it brands yourself, right? It brands your name, and this is all free on social media these days. So this is just a quick example of what I personally do to build our brand and name out there in the masses. So we're going to end with this. This is our last Tuesday's Positive Tuesday quote. It shouldn't matter what car you drive, how much money you have, or the color of your skin. What does matter is to be yourself, and you will succeed. With that said, have a wonderful rest of the week, a great 3-day holiday weekend, and good selling. Take care. Thanks again.